I would even say that's one of my... All good. Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm gonna go through the entire gear bag that I bring to, pretty much any game. So I will really go through what gear that I always use, independent of the game. Why I use certain things, how I modified certain stuff, and so on. So this is what I've been using also on the last couple videos. So this is kind of independent from the primary actually. So what's packed here I used for the booby trap gameplay with the SSQ22. I used also for the minigun gameplay, this guy right here. So yeah, let's open it and go through it. I will also put it to the side because otherwise you guys can't see anything. Good, and I will just go through the stuff as it comes. So, first of all, my mask. I've been running this setup since forever. I really believe this is the kind of like the best setup that you can have. It's quite DIY, but I like this more than dye masks. I like it more than separate face masks with, all of the million straps on your head. I really hate that. So I really just cable tied a very basic $10 mesh masks onto the anti-fog goggles. So that's that right here. Not sure how well you can see this, but yeah, it's just literally cable ties going through the mask and through the goggles. This way I only have one strap, my ears are free, there's not 100 things going on my head. So yeah, so much for that. That mask is highly modified actually. I also cut it with a Dremel to make it a bit shorter because otherwise they're too long. And then when you look down, you hit your plate carrier, which is annoying. So I spent quite a lot of time on this. Which is also by the reason why I decided we're gonna make this into a project. So this is something we're working on, might come out in a couple of months from now. But basically, I literally took what I created here years ago and we recreate this exact same shape so then people can zip tie it to their goggles, just like I did. It's a bit of a DIY weird product, I feel like. But again, I've been using this since forever and I feel like it works the best. So yeah, why not just offer it? Good, thermal anti-fog. On the anti-fog thing, I really have to say I like the thermal more than the fan-based ones. I enjoy how, it doesn't make noise. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about what's inside the lens. So basically in here is a heating film glued in, which we call the thermal anti-fog. You connect it right here to a battery pack, which is here on the back of the Boonie. And then you don't fog anymore. I think it's great. I use it now in winter. In summer we will see, on really hot days, maybe it gets a bit too warm. That remains to be seen. I used it before at like 28 degrees and it was fine. But yeah, I think for summer the fan-based ones are better because they actually cool you down. This one doesn't cool you down. I think it's more on the heating side. So yeah, but now these last, I think 8 games in winter, definitely preferred. No, again, no noise, and also because I don't have the hoses from the anti-fog, I don't have these tubes. I'm just more flexible with this. I can show you. Like for example, I have this on my face, put the Boonie on, and now I just connect these two things, bam, and I'm ready to go. If I want to look at my camera, for example, I can actually do that. Look at the camera, this still hangs on the cable. I put it back. So it's really flexible in a way, which the hoses are not that much, right? I could also take that thing and put it somewhere else. So my preferred system for now. I still prefer Boonies over everything else. I've been running Boonies ever since I started Airsoft, and I tried helmets, I tried caps, I don't know, Boonies are just, I like that they give me some shade. I like that when I walk through bushes that it kind of folds over my ears and protects them. I guess it breaks up your shape a little bit as well, so that's an advantage. And yeah, it's light. I really don't see a reason why not to wear a Boonie. Maybe some people think it looks funny, like you look like a fisher. I think it looks really cool. I've always been a Boonie guy, and I will always stay a Boonie guy. Boonie is also quite modified. I zip tied a GoPro mount in here. So basically 2 zip ties, punched holes into the Boonie, and then I cut the hole here for the camera mount as well. Hope you guys can see this. And then I routed the cable for charging, power bank in the back. Here, this one. Just a standard power bank from Amazon, nothing special. And yeah, that's how I run it. The cable for the thermal anti-fog goes through the hole that's already pre-cut on the Boonie. so I didn't have to cut this one. And on the rim, I kind of like this look of, you know, that you have all of these strings coming out. I think it looks cool, and I always feel like Boonie rims are too big, including ours. I think it's too big for my taste. I know some other people like it this big, but yeah, my personal one is cut. So much for this. Moving on, what else do we have in here? Plate carrier. Now, that's a bit of a weird one actually. So I always didn't like plate carriers, and I still don't think they're absolutely needed in Airsoft. I personally run them for one reason, and that is actually the shoulder camera. So only the plate carrier is stable enough for me to run a shoulder cam here on the side, and still making sure that this, you know, doesn't twist around, doesn't bother me. Because if you have a thin shoulder strap, the shoulder cam will always hang. But with this one, it is, you know, stable. It just stays here. When I aim, it looks the right direction. So that's literally the reason why I run the plate carrier. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I think I would run something more minimalistic. I haven't even thought about it because I don't have the option, but I would probably do something like the modular chest rig, or maybe nothing at all. Maybe just the battle belt, which we're gonna get to later. I am running now these 5 MP5 mags, 3 of them here, one on the belt, one in the gun, just because I was running the SSB5 carbon kit. But yeah, this is something I do really enjoy about the plate carrier, the fact that I can, you know, I just clip this off, take off the whole thing, and I put there what I need. You know, I have multiple setups because I keep changing setups. So maybe I have sniper mags here, or M4 mags, and this is very neat that you only need, you know, one carrier and you can just swap out these setups. I also really enjoy this little pouch here. I always felt like universal pouches that are in the back, they're so inaccessible. I never find stuff in them, and it's, you know, once you're in all your gear, you really can't see what's going on there, but you can see what's going on here. Like you can kind of like bring this out and I can really look inside. Yeah, that's usually not in here because that just rattles, but I have sometimes grenade in here or safety glasses, backup to the mask. We're also gonna get to that. Yeah. On the sides I have nothing because I think it's annoying. I don't want anything, you know, interfering with my arms. Here, this little thing, I really like that. It's basically a little microfiber tissue. So if I want to clean up my mask, which, you know, this always happens, you make your stuff dirty, your scope is dirty, then you can actually use this and just wipe it. So neat little gadget that I wouldn't want to miss because it just kind of hangs there. It's not heavy, it's not really in the way. So this one I do really enjoy. So much for the carrier. Let's remove that again. And currently I run an HBA bottle on the back, but I like to keep it, you know, clear of anything usually. So that's only because I ran HBA. If I don't run HBA, I actually have nothing on the back. I don't want any hydration packs there. I don't want additional bulk and weight. So usually it's just clear. There's a power bank on here, which connects to the shoulder camera. So I just run it through here and connect it to the power bank. But that's, again, because I make videos. Otherwise, I wouldn't have anything on there. I mean, honestly, if I wouldn't make videos, I probably wouldn't run the carrier either because I'm just not that much of a carrier guy. I would go a bit more minimalistic. But yeah, here we are. Go remove that. What else do we have in the gear bag? The gear bag itself, actually. Let's talk about this thing. So I would even say that's one of my... All good? Yeah, I think so. Okay, I just made a mess. So the gear bag itself is such a quality of life. Yeah, it doesn't have to be this gear bag. I think any gear bag with wheels where you can, you know, have like one of these telescope handles. It's just amazing. You know, airsoft gear is heavy. You have to bring it sometimes to very remote places, and with this thing you just kind of pull it, and you're just not annoyed by heavy gear that's on your shoulders for, I don't know, 15 minutes for the walk to the safe zone or the respawn or off zone or however you want to call it. Once I got a gear bag, I could never go back. I never want an IKEA bag again. I never want like a sports bag or a sling bag or any shit like this. Gear bags are really, it's just such a life changer. So highly recommend it to get some kind of gear bag. Good. Moving on. Gloves. I exclusively use mechanics gloves. I I don't know, I just don't really see a reason to change. I know there's many other models out there. There might be good ones, but I've been using these ever since, and I just can't complain, right? They have all kinds of models. Here I have the summer ones, which I really enjoy for winter, but I always bring a second pair that is thinner because, you know, sometimes I just feel like the primary and the secondary that I'm operating, or the grenades or whatnot, I just need thinner gloves, and then I compromise, you know, with freezing fingers. But if I can, I try to use in winter the thermal ones. So in winter I always bring both, in summer I only bring the thin ones. And here when it comes to the model, I don't have a strong preference. I tried the Impact 2, the Fast Fit. Actually all of them work quite well for me, and I go with the most minimalistic ones. They are the cheapest. If they break, I just trash them and get a new pair. Which on the Impact they are more pricey, right? So if you throw these away, it's a bit more painful. Moving on. Velcro belt and battle belt. Now we started offering the minimal molet belt and the EDC belt, and funny enough, they are more popular than the battle belt, which I really don't understand. I think big, chunky, stiff battle belts are so much better than all the minimalistic stuff. I know it's a fashion right now to have these like really slim ones. I absolutely disagree. I think mags are not as stable on them, and you have less. Yeah, they're just less stable. You have less surface on your body, and the mounting surfaces are smaller. So I guess they look cool, but not for me. Yeah, I've always been running big battle belts. You know, these really chunky, heavy-duty battle belts, just like this one. I don't think I will ever change. This is just what I personally prefer. Velcro belt, absolute must. I never run a battle belt without Velcro belt anymore. I think it's such a pain if these things turn on you. So, you know, if I just mount this and I run around for long enough, this will start turning, and then my secondary is out of place. So I hate it, and that's why Velcro belt is an absolute must. Goes into your pants, you connect the belt to your gear, and then this stuff doesn't slip anymore. On the belt, I'm not too particular when it comes to the belt setup, because I run different stuff all the time. I don't want to call it a curse, but I think it is nice to always run the same gun, because then your gear is highly optimized. But because I keep changing guns, I have quite random pouches on here, and these pouches kind of work for, you know, most of the stuff. So I have some sniper rifle pouches. I have here a 50mm pouch, a closed pistol mag pouch, open pistol mag pouch, another 50mm pouch, and then 40mm grenade holders. So again, this is not really made with an intention. This just kind of grew, and when a pouch goes on, I don't take it off because it takes too much time, and I think it's light enough that I just keep it on. But yeah, that's, I think, just me, because I'm switching between setups all the time. I would love to only run one setup, but because we have to test all the stuff, and, you know, I want to make interesting videos with different replicas, I kind of have to switch all the time. So yeah, not a very sophisticated belt setup. That being said, I always run the open universal holster on it. And when it comes to secondaries, my philosophy here is, if I need a secondary, I'm gonna bring one. If I don't absolutely need it, just don't bring it. Yeah, don't bother with the additional weight. So let's say I would run an SSQ22, right? I can use it in CQB. I can also use it at longer ranges. Just don't bring a sidearm. It's just, again, additional weight, additional magazines, additional PBs. It's just hassle, right? No need. So I run sidearms only if I run something like the good example would be this 0.5 joule minigun. You know, I don't have enough range for long distance, so I brought a 1.5 joule secondary. If you run a sniper rifle, of course, I also need a secondary. So yeah, that's what I have this for. These carbine kit setups, now, not this particular one, but in general, the option to flip a stock out of your secondary, I think it's such an advantage. Yeah, I think there's different options out there. There's the B&T carbine kit style, which is, you know, kind of similar to this one. Then there is the Flux one. There is all kinds of brands make all kinds of carbine kits, and I think it's amazing, because I can run it with one hand if I need to. Like, I can absolutely run it like this, but usually I have the time to flip this out and to, you know, run it kind of like a primary. Like, this is not really far from my primary anymore. I can put mid-cap mags into this, so I have 100 rounds, I have 1.5 joule, I have a stock, I have an optic. This is not really inferior to an HE in my opinion, especially with the HBA connector. In winter I run usually either an HBA setup like this one, or one of my favorites is actually the electric pistols, so APs. I love APs, they just always work. I have full auto, and they have enough range, in my opinion, to, you know, fulfill the role of the backup, which is a backup. Yeah. For long ranges, I use my sniper rifle. For short ranges, I can use the AP, and it's plenty of range. It has full auto. Here on the minigun, it was an exception because I needed far range, because the minigun had short range. So that's why I chose the SSP5, 1.5 Joule. Just sits here in my holster, and it's not really in the way. Like, even though you would think it is quite a chunky boy, it just kind of sits there, and I run around. I don't really feel it, and when I need it, I just bring it up, and it's ready to go. I put a front grip on it on this one, just to give me a bit more, you know, control over it. Of course, the cameras, because I make videos, and then the raised optic. I think not much more to say about this one. Moving on, we have HBA hoses, nothing special, just standard hose, because I was running the HBA kit on the SSP5. Now this guy here. This is something I had to learn the hard way. Doug said he wants to make an overall. Doug is our textile guy, by the way, in case you don't know. And I was really skeptical. I thought, who wants an overall? Like, isn't overalls, aren't they just for noobs? But since I tried the prototype, fuck, I just love it, really. Overalls it's just less hassle in a way. You know, it's not, you can't forget your pants and you can't forget your top accidentally because it's one piece. So first of all that. And it protects you better from BBs because the, you know, like these Cry G3 style uniforms with the thin jersey, it's very uncomfortable actually to get shot. Like, especially if you get shot around the plate carrier, you know, like in your armpit, it's basically just like wearing a t-shirt, while this is thicker uniform fabric. And yeah, there's also not the shirt coming out of my pants or any of this, so I just put it on and I kind of forget about it, and it just works for me. So I really enjoyed using this one. And overalls you can also get really cheap, right? You can go to surplus stores, you can get these pilot overalls. I do really recommend overalls. Yeah. Ever since I used this one, I never want to go back to a two-piece uniform. What else do we find in here? For winter, beanie hat. I actually wear this under the Boonie, so it's thin enough that I can wear it under the Boonie. And yeah, all my cameras are mounted to the Boonie. That's why I have both. Otherwise, only running this, also with the thermal anti-fog on the Velcro badge, I think that would actually be a great option as well. But I need my camera setup, so I do it differently. These are caps for the sound grenade. Now on the sound grenade, it kind of became a staple of my gear. Like these guys right here, basically. Small, they have been working really reliable for me. And we're also now making these new holders because I liked using these so much. I wanted a, you know, fast way of deploying these, so I can just rip it out of the holder, or I can also pull it out towards the top. They have active retention, so they're not gonna fall out, but I can still pull them out. These are 3D prints, but we're already putting these into production soon. So I think that's right now, from all the grenade setups that I've ever used, I like this the most. It's one-hand deployment. You just throw it and easy to pull. And because they're small enough, they are kind of always on me. Only in winter when it gets -degrees, these stop working. So that's the only exception where I don't bring them. Otherwise, it's just a no-brainer to have them. And they're also allowed at all fields, because some fields don't allow pyro grenades, but these ones are kind of, I think, always allowed. I've never had a game where they don't allow these. Sling. I like these, you know, Magpul MS4 type slings, because I very, very, very often need these quick adjustments. So if I use, let's say, this guy, I just really like the option of, you know, being able to go from 2 point to 1 point, and the option of fast adjustment. I think it cannot be beaten. I know many people now switch to different type of slings with padding and all of this. I don't think it's needed. I think airsoft guns are not that heavy that I need padding, unless you run an LMG. So yeah, this is for sure my preferred sling. I always run this one, and nothing else just has been working for me the best. You can also do your shoulder transitions left to right, and they're not really in the way. So yeah, these are a no-brainer for me, and it's always in my gear bag. Okay, next is a set of safety glasses. I bring these together with my mask because I do not feel safe in safe zones, which is kind of ridiculous. But airsoft safe zones, man, there's just so many accidental discharges. You know it, right? There's like a new guy, he doesn't really know what he's doing yet, and he has his battery still plugged in, he pulls the trigger, there's a beam in the chamber, boom, don't want to lose my eyes. So as soon as my mask goes off, this thing goes on, and this thing is usually always in my plate carrier dongle. So even if I'm in the field, you know, maybe I know there's no one around, I just want to cool down a little bit, I take off my mask, I put this thing on immediately. So this is always on me, not just on the safe zone, but in the field as well. On the shoes, I really enjoy the NOVRITSCH. They are just kind of light, they feel like a trainer almost, but they still give you enough ankle support. They are a bit pricey, but yeah, I feel like it's these kind of shoes which you buy them once and then you use them for hiking, for outdoor sports. Some of the people in our office use them even for, you know, just daily office work. I think it's a bit of an overkill for an office shoe, but I guess they're comfortable enough that you can pull it off. I've been trying now these anti-slip, I don't even know how you call these, but you put them over your shoes so you don't slip on ice. It was an absolute catastrophe. I had to cable tie it there, so yeah, I definitely don't recommend these. We'll have to find better ones and then maybe add them to the store. Let's see. But these were quite disappointing, unfortunately. So I'm not bringing these to every game, just so you guys know. Speed loader, I don't have to talk about that. That's an obvious one. Then these two, toolkit. So highly recommended, just any kind of toolkit. You always, you know, this mount is loose or you have to take a gun apart because something stopped working. Someone needs tools. Nice to have a toolkit, so I always bring this one. Then maintenance kit, I think it's also just a good to have. I did put some additional stuff in there like rubber bands, cable ties, all that kind of stuff. I bring it mostly for the cleaning rod, honestly, because the long cleaning rods in a gear bag, I always break them, I always lose them, and here's just kind of all in, you know, one contained package. If my replica starts shooting bad, then I can, you know, just take out that rod and assemble it, and I can pull a tissue through the barrel, make sure the hop-up is clean. Barrel. There's also rubbing alcohol in there. I also put a tube of super glue in there just in case something breaks, you know, always good to have. So this also goes with me to every game, just to have it, just to be sure. And that's it. I think we're through. So these are the very bare bones. That's what I bring to almost every game. It's kind of like the base that I build on and then the primary changes. So when I use this guy here, for example, I might put some more MP5 magazine pouches on my belt. So there's small modifications to the gear, but this is really the basics that everything is based on. Hope you guys enjoyed this gear update. I tried to do it very, very quickly because these videos can get otherwise really long. Don't forget to subscribe to the NOVRITSCH Backstage channel because more stuff will be coming. I'm trying to do a video once a week. Hope I can pull it off. Quite a busy schedule. But yeah, thanks for watching and see you guys on the next one.